Alright guys, I'm going to pick apart a few things about Ze Frank's most recent video that he released for True Facts. Pigeons are not mindless peckers. I'm going to point out at least 3 different things in this video. I might update this with more, but I will point out at least 3 different things that he says in this video that makes me think that now they're going to at least make an attempt on my life. By they, I mean Ze Frank and his contemporaries, the people I've been pointing out that he's associated with that I believe are part of an incestuous cult that perform rape rituals on their own children, that maybe even pimp out their children to other members of the cult. This will foster a sense of loyalty amongst them. I believe this has been going on for some of these families for generations, and of course they will probably bring in new blood here and there. I feel that they've come to the end of their patience with me, with trying to get me to either just shut up or join them. And I've just been releasing more and more information, pointing out how they are cleverly referencing different devil figures in different belief systems, because they are likely devil worshippers. And really, if you think about it, the best way to serve the devil, if you were inclined to do so, you would want to do the worst thing you could do, which is to rape your own children. And I believe that's what's going on here. So let's get into it. True facts: pigeons are not mindless peckers. I already pulled up the first thing I wanted to point out was, well, prior to this in the video, just prior to this, there's a shot of a pigeon trying to evade a hawk. So let's go back and see if we can find it. I probably can't. Probably shouldn't be doing this part. But yeah, it's towards the beginning. Just watch it. There's a shot of a pigeon trying to evade a hawk. Hawks are notoriously a symbol for Horus from the Greek Pantheon. And Horus is also associated with these people, with figures like Shiva, and Loki, and Horus is really just, you could think of Horus as being the archetypal child in terms of Jungian psychology, in his particular pantheon, which represents the same thing. It's the devil figure in many ways. So anyway, without dwelling too much on that, so it's essentially, I believe, he says at some point, let's see if this pigeon will live another day. So I think that's something that he's saying to me. This other part here where it talks about, he says murder chicken. I shouldn't play any more than that. Just go ahead and watch it. So around minute marker 1 minute 52 seconds, he says murder chicken. He shows a chicken or a rooster. It looks more like a rooster to me. And a rooster's head is what the Abrasax looks like. So let's have a look at that really quickly. So again, here's my blog on, here we go. Where is it? The human soul, the human foot, the clown, and the crab monster. Sorry, I'm like blanking on the name of... It's the most obvious, most famous, most well-known blog platform, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Sorry about that. But here is a post that I made. So my blog is called Celebrity R.A.I.N.S List. R.A.I.N.S. R.A.I.N.S is in the R.A.I.N.S list started by Joan Coleman in southern, she's a psychologist operating in southern UK, and she worked with the victims of cults. She worked with children born and raised into cults who witnessed horrible rituals and had horrible sexual abuse done to them. And so she started a list called the R.A.I.N.S list, where she began gathering information on these cults until she died. So my blog is very much, in a way, piggybacking off of that in order to get more attention to it, which I think it's for good cause. It's essentially my version of the R.A.I.N.S list, only celebrities, people that I'm noticing who are basically flashing quote unquote gang signs saying that they worship the devil. If you know what to look for, if you know how they operate. And if you've made a study of mythology and devil figures and archetypes and how they're visually represented. So in this, I get into Ze Frank. Here we go. I talk about how Ze Frank is referencing the clown crab and how that's very much related to the Abrasax or the Abraxas in certain ways. Note that the Abrasax is often depicted, almost exclusively depicted with a rooster's head. I believe I have more images of it down here. So go ahead and read some of this. None of these are nearly finished or have as much information in them that I keep planning to put in them. But I think you start getting the idea, guys. I know I put in more Abrasax stuff down here. Yeah, so, here's where I start getting into how his rubber duck, how Ze Frank's rubber duck and his celebrity duck, this celebra duck thing, it's an actual product that was made. It's made to look like him. How there's all these references to the devil in these. Here we go. So here's another depiction of the Abrasax. Again, note the rooster head. So we're going back to now Ze Frank and his video, his most recent video, True Facts, Pigeons Aren't Mindless. Let's play it again. Pause it. A murder chicken. So he's likening himself. He's already likened himself to the Abrasax, just with the celebra duck that I just showed you guys, the celebrity duck that's made to look like him, and he's doing a hand gesture that is the Abrasax is often depicted as doing, like with one finger pointed in his left hand, and he's also holding a little round yellow ball like a sun, like the Abrasax holds. So, and also the five petaled flowers on his shirt. A lot of them look like they're pointed downwards, like an upside down pentagram. Things like that. So he's really already likened himself in many ways to the Abrasax, which has a rooster's head. Now here I see a rooster chicken head, and he's saying murder chicken. I think so. He's saying he's lost his patience. They've lost patience with trying to get me to join them. At one point in one of his videos, within like the past year, I couldn't pinpoint for you exactly when, but it's towards the middle of the video. I think towards like right around one of the advertisements that he voices. He says, "Join us," and I felt like that was towards me. So anybody who knows me, my mom just said this earlier on the phone, that I have good gut instincts. I know when somebody's talking to me without directly talking to me. I think you guys, if you go back and watch my videos and his videos in the order that they were released, pay attention to the things I say in reference, and then pay attention to the things he says in references. He is definitely, we're sort of having a bit of a conversation with each other. He knows about me. He knows what I've been saying, accusing him of. He has not come out right and openly denied any of my accusations, which would be the reasonable thing for an innocent person to do. He has not done that. No, I've received no contact from him or a lawyer or anybody saying, you're wrong about Ze Frank. Here's how you're wrong. He didn't mean any of this. This is the way he's been behaving is not how an innocent person behaves. It's how a guilty person behaves. It's sort of like, let me half-ass talk to her through videos, make her guess half the time at what I'm saying, because I know she's watching my videos and researching me, and make her offers to come join us or whatever, and pretend to have some kind of a connection with her or something like that, and foster some kind of weird connection, rather than have her take this any farther and get us in trouble. Anyway, yeah. And so then the third thing is, so the first thing was the hawk chasing the pigeon. The third thing is the chicken or the rooster, the murder chicken or the rooster here. And then the third thing is I'm not going to play it because, again, I don't want to get in any kind of copyright trouble. But if you play it all the way to the end, he quite often will end the video with some kind of little song ditty he's made up. This one he ended with, he ended with a song that had the lyrics, pigeon love is over, pigeon love is gone, or something like that. Yeah. So, again, I can't tell you how much I don't believe you on the love thing. Like, you're confused. Again, guys, so I do think that these were all messages for me. If something does happen to me, they're probably not going to do something outright, make it look like I was murdered. They will probably try to do something that looks like an accident. I don't know what. I don't know how. Obviously, I wish I knew. But I'm making this because if something does happen to me, I did not intend for that. I intend to keep myself alive and kicking and going. And if my life is cut short, damn certain they had something to do with it. I'm careful. I don't go out very much. I'm a very indoor type of person. I just hang out with my cats, make good food for myself, do research. I eat like freaking like turkey sausage and egg salad and gluten-free and spinach and kale every day. And like I gave up smoking for a month. I still been smoking a little bit. Yeah, I'm a bit of a weakling there, but yeah, I'm a healthy 39-year-old woman. For the most part, healthy 39-year-old woman. I don't do hard drugs or anything like that. I smoke tobacco. I've smoked a bit of weed consistently for years and years. But I don't do hard drugs. That stuff is just nonsense. So and I've had a medical marijuana permit for my back and all of that, for those of you who might be like, I have a tolerance for it. I've been doing it for years and years and years with a permit, for the sake of my spine and so on and so forth. It helps with inflammation. Anyway, I just got off the phone with my mom, actually. We spoke for maybe like better part of 3 hours. We're getting along better. She really just wants me to forget about all this and have a baby. And I'm like, I would love that. I would love to do that. There's a few things getting in my way, though, like the fact that I have no money. I barely have enough money to survive on my own, let alone bring a baby into the situation. I have no husband. I have not even like the glimmer of a dude around that I'm interested in. And that doesn't look like it's going to improve because, again, I'm a homebody kind of person. I don't go out like to the bar or anything like that, so I don't actually give myself a lot of ways to meet people. Let's go back to WordPress. There it is. That's the word. So my blog on WordPress. So again, it's called Celebrity R.A.I.N.S List. And here's one of my posts showing you guys. Let's view the regular. I updated this one too, actually. So let's go down and I'll show you the update that I just put in last night, I believe it was. Or today, this morning, recently. In the past 24 hours. So again, go back and look at how the crab monster has popped up throughout mythology and how it's often, and even current stories, it's retold in current stories, it's often an obstacle to sweetness, innocence, young girls, youth. The soul, it's an obstacle to the soul getting back to the source. It's really the most abstract, philosophical, esoteric translation of that is that this is an obstacle for the soul to get back to the oversoul. This is trying to stop you from going home. And it's the material world. See, that's represented by the gold all over its back. Material things. So anyway, so I was telling my mom, I would love to have a baby, but it's not responsible to have a baby if I don't have a partner and I don't have the money. And it's not looking like, how far down are we? Here we go. I don't know if I'm going to have it anytime soon. And I don't want to be, she was like, just move home and we'll help with it. Like, no, I'm not going to be beholden to my family, my mother. I can't make myself beholden to them for help with my baby, or financially. Like, it's either I'm independently wealthy or I have a partner I know I can trust to pay the bills, or it's a no-go. So, and also I mentioned also because of these people, because of this network of D-bags who are running things. They've really got the market cornered. Here's how he makes how his kitten snake, Rise of the Kitten Snake, is the title of one of his videos. Mustelids. How mustelids took over the world. Rise of the Kitten Snake. Yeah. So that's referencing Yaldabaoth. And then I added something else where he references mescaline all the way down here at the bottom. Sorry, just takes a second for the photos to pop up. More spiral penises. Yeah, there's pigs have spiral penises too. I talk about how ducks have spiral penises. Go back and watch that other video. But down here, oh, come on. Here we go. So in one of his videos, from his very first YouTube series, he put out like 2 series on YouTube first, before he really did anything else, like went on to be the president of BuzzFeed and so on, or True Facts. He put out a series called A Show with Zay Frank and a series called The Show with Zay Frank. And I forget I always mix up which one came first. But this is from his very first one. I can tell just by the settings, the way it's set up. So the previous photos up above that we passed of him, that's from the second series. This is from the first series. Zay Frank cleverly displays the Starbucks logo, another connection to Melusine, mermaids, and the Abrasax. Starbucks logo is based on an old depiction of Melusine. In that very same video, Zay observes a moment of silence for the closing of Michael Jackson's notorious Neverland Ranch. Yeah. Yeah. So, so also these guys, really what they're doing is they have the market cornered on having any kind of a good life. And it's really, you either prove that you're one of them, which I suspect involves violating a minor of some sort. It's either you prove that you're one of them and then you get the good life, or you're considered a slave. In which case, you're going to have a life where you work as hard as you want, but you're never going to make it very far. It's always going to be like just good enough to survive. That's what I think, that's the kind of world I think that they have been working hard, have been for a long time, for a few generations at least, that they've been trying to set up, where they have the keys to the kingdom of milk and honey, and you don't get through that gate unless you prove that you're a degenerate. And I just can't. And they've given me no reason to suspect otherwise. And again, they're very well aware of my accusations about them. I think I've made them public enough and have been making them long enough. Word would have gotten back to Zay Frank by now. that, oh, this chick is on YouTube accusing you of being incestuous, an incestuous pedophile, and that you adopted those kids so that you could do mind games on them, manipulate them, and rape them, and possibly do some kind of ritual rape of them that causes dissociative identity disorder, so that you can also manipulate several alters in them, which again is something that Fritz Springmeier talks about in his book. So actually, yeah, I won't pull it up here, but, and these people, it's kind of like, here, let me show you another one that I posted recently. How Ze Frank is connected to Jordan Peele. Maybe I should make a whole other video about this. I'll go over it real quick in this one, and then I'll make a whole other video specifically focusing on this, because I think in this case, it's good to repeat yourself a little bit so it sinks into people's heads. Guys, this is for real shit. And we're talking about people raping kids, and I don't know how you can consider yourself a good person and just walk away and not do something about that, try to put a stop to it. I can't see anything good about it. So, how Ze Frank is connected to Jordan Peele, and why they both love messing with your mind. So I'm still working on this one, but again, I try to get the information out as I'm putting it up, so that at least it's out there in case something happens to me. Ze Frank has a degree in neurolinguistic programming from Brown University. So that's neuro, mind, brain, linguistic, words, programming the mind with words. So he knows how to program people's minds. He knows how to mess with you with his words. Keep that in mind when I keep telling you guys, hey, guys, he's saying stuff to me. We're having a secret message, a secret conversation. Well, it's secret on his end. I'm being open and honest about it. That's how we're these two opposites in some ways. Yeah. So, Jordan Peele is known for writing and directing the psychological horror thriller Get Out. So anybody who hasn't seen that, I think it's worth watching at least once. It's okay. It's pretty good. It's basically this guy is taken home to visit the family of his girlfriend. That's her in the top left corner of the picture. And it turns out that she was just luring him back to her home because her mother is a psychologist who messes with their minds, puts them under some kind of hypnotic trance where she basically eradicates their consciousness and then somehow downloads the consciousness of these rich white people that are paying her a bunch of money so that they can be sort of transplanted into the minds of these young men and essentially extend their lives. So yeah, it's sort of a sci-fi horror thriller, or is it sci-fi? Is it science fiction? I don't know. It reminds me a lot of The Skeleton Key. I should put a picture of that in here, actually. I will probably be updating this soon. The Skeleton Key is another movie where they're essentially doing the same thing, but with voodoo or hoodoo magic. It's a voodoo witch couple, husband and wife, who occasionally, every few decades, switch bodies with people by using magic and tricking them. Anyway, so Jordan Peele wrote and directed this. There he is. There's Jordan Peele with his wife, Chelsea Peretti. Chelsea Peretti's like an actress. Can't remember anything she's ever been in, but supposedly she's like an actress. Chelsea Peretti and her brother, Jonah Peretti. So that's Chelsea Peretti's brother, Jonah. That would be now Jordan Peele's brother-in-law. Here's Jonah Peretti. For those of you who don't know, he's the guy who founded BuzzFeed Corporation. So you guys have probably seen videos that at least a handful of videos that BuzzFeed has put out or had influence over or hosted on their platform. Ze Frank was appointed the president of BuzzFeed Motion Pictures. That's because Ze Frank and Jonah Peretti are besties. Look, here's some pictures of them hanging out. They kind of came up together. So we'll get into that in the other video, but they became celebrity internet superstars sort of around the same time. Jonah Peretti pulled this thing where he asked to have a shoe made with the word sweatshop written on the side, and he made a big political thing out of it. There are way bigger political issues to take on, let me tell you, like incest amongst the high-ranking celebrity families and political families and big industry families. Yeah. And them shutting down the free market with their selfishness and making it damn near impossible for most women out there to be good mothers to their children, if not just outright impossible, and really just being responsible for society as it is, just looking more and more like it's going to shit every day, because they essentially want something akin to a slave race serving them, from what I can tell. So, yeah, I'm gonna get to again. I'm gonna update this one a bit. I'm gonna make a whole other video about it. But just a reminder, let's get back to where I started this. So again, his most recent video, True Facts, Pigeons Aren't Mindless Peckers. If something happens to me, my name is Katie Elizabeth Phillips. I'm from Cape May, New Jersey. I'm currently living in Daytona Beach, Florida. I think they already know that. I think they figured it out by the time I even got here. I mean, maybe even before I got here, they realized, like, she's going to Daytona Beach. Who knows? But I think they keep fairly close tabs on me, or they know I'm sloppy enough they'll be able to figure out where I am pretty quickly. I don't go out of my way to try and hide where I am. Just seems like a lot of wasted energy when they have a whole network of people that can help keep track of me. So anyway, so I figure it's better for me to just put it out there to the general public, you know, where I'm from, where I am. Again, Katie Elizabeth Phillips. I often go by Kat Phillips, KatPhillips. And I hail from Cape May, New Jersey, the Jersey Shore. I grew up there. And because of my formal education in visual arts and symbolism, and my education, a lot of it was formal, a lot of it's my own private education, because I just love researching things like occult symbols and symbolism used in all pantheons, religions, mythologies, communities, cultures. I happened to notice a group of people operating, beginning with Ze Frank and then spreading out to his friends and associates. I started to notice people operating in media, content creators, influencers, that are using a lot of the same symbols and cleverly referencing them, and that these symbols very much suggest child abuse, child trafficking, incest, so on and so forth. And so I started coming out talking about it, making videos, writing a blog. And since then, I've felt like I've been being gang stalked, sabotaged in a lot of places. And I've felt like Ze Frank has been trying to send me sort of veiled messages through his videos. And we've been sort of having a conversation back and forth where I'm open-ended about the conversation, and he's being very cowardly. I don't know how else to put it, Say. I really don't. Sorry. It's cowardly. Okay, there you go. He's being mysterious about it. He's a mysterious magician. He's being a mysterious magician about him, saying join us in a certain way that seems suggestive. I don't know. So he's being, and they're clever. They're not stupid. He's well educated. A lot of my suspects are above average intelligence, and some of them are very creative thinkers. And, not all pedophiles, incestuous pedophiles, are going to be dumb, ugly trolls living under bridges, guys. Not all of them are going to be idiots. Not all of them are going to be middle class or impoverished. Some of them are going to be very rich. Some of them are going to be very well connected, very well educated, and like it's easier now than ever for people to network, to kind of come together at Yale or wherever, Brown University, and say, oh, you like having sex with children? So do I. Let's have a club. You know, and I do suspect, though, that started generations ago. And we're dealing with the children of those men. So, anyway, yeah. The 3 things in this video that make me suggest that these guys are going to try and make an attempt on my life. There might be more if I watch it again, but the first thing is the hawk chasing the pigeon and hit what he says there. Let's see if the pigeon will live another day. The third thing is the murder chicken reference, which again looked more like a rooster to me. Either way, chicken, rooster, it still would stand for the Abrasax, which again he references. His celebrity duck looks like the Abrasax. And then the final song he ends it with, where the ditty that says, you know, the pigeon love is over, the pigeon love is gone. There was no real love there, dude. No real love. You would have wanted what was best for me if you loved me. And I'm pretty sure what's best for me is not to I'd become something that makes my stomach squirm. Like, it's not to forgo my humanity and my soul and my womanhood and my motherhood, pretending that you people aren't raping children. That's not what's best for me. You don't love me. You're insane if you think you love me, if you think there's any love. Although I think you probably play loose and fast with that word. And why do I also feel like maybe you might also be the kind of person who just is in love with everything in the world all the time? So maybe, you know, it's not really that special to you. I'm just so ticked off that you use that word with me or addressing me or anything like that ever. Anyway. Yeah, so how can I bring a child into this world? How can I in good conscience do that? Or into a family like yours? Are you kidding me? You're joking, right? And that's why it's a big joke. That's why you guys have turned life into a big joke, because the point and the meaning of it all was motherhood and parenthood and good motherhood and good parenthood and taking care of your children properly and protecting them. And you've made it so that you can't possibly even afford to do that. You've made it so that mothers can't afford to be around their children and protect them and teach them and feed them properly and so on and so forth. They've got to be out there working alongside the men just to make ends meet, because it's so hard to fucking survive. So apparently we can't be, they're destroying motherhood is what they're doing. They're outright destroying it. You're either one of them and your motherhood is destroyed because you allow people to rape your child, or you're a slave and your motherhood is destroyed because you can't freaking afford to be home with your kids. And or the men are so unenlightened and so they're trained by the media that these guys put out to be so spoiled that they don't see that the biggest hero they could ever be is somebody who has a family and is, you know, good to their spouse and their children. But they all want to be celebrity porn stars, space cowboys, and it's like, and then become resentful of the family life. And I do blame a lot of that on the influence of Ze Frank and his contemporaries, and particularly people like Richard Hart. Let's get back to Richard Hart the way he talks. Let me go back listen to some of his videos. Richard James Schuler. He is such a chauvinist. By the way, all these dudes are secretly inside. I think that they're really actually very gay, and probably not coming to terms with it, or I don't know. But from the way I've thought out, there's the psychology and sat with it for a while, it feels like they're gay and suppressing it. Gotta add Doc Marquis. All right, I have work to do. So again, guys, pretty sure Hosea Jan Frank. This I want to use a bad word. I'm trying not to be too insulting with you. This guy right here, this very clever, very kind individual, this dude, I think he's probably going to have me murdered. And again, because they're not stupid, they'll probably try to make it look like some kind of accident. Because again, I suspect that they are part of a cult that engages in incestuous, inappropriate relationships with their children. And if by chance anybody gets around to questioning them about any of this at some point, you will want to use very specific wording and language and questions. So, for example, you do not want to ask them something like, have you ever had an inappropriate sexual contact with a child? Because they very likely don't see it as inappropriate. So they can, with a straight face, say no. So you want to be very specific. You want to say, have you ever touched a child with your penis? Something along those lines, guys. All right? Just for anybody out there, in case there's even one decent, righteous law enforcer out there who might want to do something about this. Okay? Or if I disappear, that's another dead giveaway. I would never disappear off the face of the earth for a long, long period of time. I think the most I ever went without speaking to my mother because angry with her was 2 weeks. Something along those lines. Or with some, like, or I'm also in contact with other members of my family. I have 2 sisters, I have an aunt, I have cousins. So, like, I don't ever just disappear for a really long period of time. If that happens, if no one's heard from me in like a couple of weeks, again, suspicious, stupid. Anyway. That was me almost using sus. But then I realized I don't like it. It's as bad as using the word nookie. I don't know why I used that word in a previous video. I really dislike the word nookie. It's like some part of me dead set on embarrassing myself and having cringe moments. Whatever, just to get over it, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to, I don't know, go spend time with my cats because they look cute right now, and update this a bit. And again, guys, if something happens to me, please start looking into this. Start looking into the things I've been writing in this blog against Celebrity R.A.I.N.S list under the name Hecate Villavi. You can see the post name there. Some stuff I didn't even post yet, but a lot of this doesn't even have a lot in it. Maybe some things do. Yeah, you see how good I am at finishing things. All right, goodbye.